my name is Bart, and today we'll be doing another lap guide video in the FIF4 car in iRacing. And today we're at Circuit Park Zandvoort. Here's the hot lap. Okay, so heading down the main straight now at the new layout, or the updated Zandvoort. So, turn 1, tricky corner this. You'll see there's a big crest here on the left-hand side of the straight. Makes it a bit tricky for braking. I find it's quite easy to lock the fronts into here, especially the inside front, which you want to try and avoid in this car because it just means you unnecessarily go quite deep into the corner. But you can brake very late here for what looks kind of like a hairpin because of the banked nature of this corner and just the fact that there's a lot of grip here on the entry. So, see, braking just before the 50-meter ball, about 70 meters from the corner. Very hard brake, and you can see I bleed out quite quickly. That's what I mean. You hold the brake over this crest, and as you go into the corner, you'll lock up quite easily, so be aware of that. Down to third gear, roll quite a bit of speed. It should be hard for you to get to the inside. So you can see here, I can't actually get to the inside curb. But look how easy, look how early my throttle pickup is. It's before we've even reached the end of this wall here on the right-hand side. Pick up throttle and full throttle by the end of that. It's tricky because you're going to have a lot of steering lock on anyway, but if you can just release the steering a little bit here, it can help open up the car and exit. Sometimes, if you feel like you're really pushing the entry and you've got a lot of lock on when you get on throttle, that probably means you've gone in a bit too fast. We'd rather have a little bit less distance and just focus on rolling the speed in. So use a bit of this entry curb. It helps open up this little right-hander here. Soft brake in fourth gear. So I'm able to pick up throttle here when I get it hooked onto this right curb. Try and get over to the right as much as possible. It's quite tricky here. You'll see in a Formula 1 car, they run all the way around the top of the banking with the downforce they have. In our car, that's not quite the fastest way. You'll see in some GTs, they go down inside the banking at turn 3 and then right up to the top. But you'll see here in a second that basically positioning-wise, what we really want to do is just try and be about on this crease here in the road. You can see here, we're in line with the start of the green as well on the banking. So, but this little crease here in the road as well, yeah, we're about, well, what's that, a car width? Maybe a car width and a half from the right-hand side of the track. It's tricky here because you don't want to carry so much speed that you're further to the left and then you really compromise turn 3 because the exit out of here is probably one of the most important on the whole track. So it's really important to prepare the car here, but it's not necessary and doesn't really help you to go so slow through the second corner that we're all the way on the right-hand side of the track here at the white line. So if we just focus on trying to get a positioning like this that's kind of between the two, good compromise. So braking into here, you can see I'm not braking hard at all, and this is where the key is for this corner. We want a good exit, but a good exit comes from using the banking and rolling the speed. How much speed can you carry through the apex here? Super important. Really soft brake, like I said, down to third. Really easy to lock up in that compression. So that's another reason why we're not braking really hard and braking really late into here. If you do that as well, the front tire kind of just slides. You put too much force through it. So quite smooth there. I'm able to pick up throttle now. Very high banking at this point. You see, we don't even reach the outside white line. Like I said, track limits wise, you can run with your outside wheels over the white line, like you'll see with some of the F1 cars. But in our case, I tried it. It doesn't really help at all. You just end up understeering more. Let's say you can carry more speed, but you can't pick up throttle as early. So hit in the banking seems to be the best spot for this car. So you kind of got to carry enough speed so you're forced up the banking, and then the car will bite. As soon as the car's about to bite, start to rotate it in the higher part of the banking, that's when we just really quite aggressively pick up throttle. Full throttle now. Use all the exit curb. Now try and just be as smooth as possible on the steering through here. Reduce the distance, straight line. Hold to the left, straight line. Smooth the steering through this right. Make sure we position really well here. Easy to do one of two things. Not get all the way to the left, get to the left too late, or even potentially drop a wheel on the left-hand side here. You can see we're right on the edge of hitting the grass. So that's what you want, just using all the track here. So keep that in mind as you go through this section. Don't turn too much to the right here and keep the car over too much on that crest on this side of the track. So let the car run out to here, like I said, in line with the white line. You've got this service road, which is a really good reference for where to brake and where you should be kind of turning in. The track's going to drop away from us now. Soft brake. So what we want to do through here is carry as much speed as possible. So that means brake the least amount possible while still keeping the car to the inside of the track. So obviously the more you slow the car down, the easier it's going to be to keep to the inside. So there's always that balancing act here. So you'll see I carry the speed and I'm just able to meet the white line now. And if you can do that, meet the white line before the apex here, apex curve coming up here, then you can pick up throttle now really nicely, and it really helps our exit. If you go wider and carry more speed, you'll be faster on the entry, but you go a lot more distance. It uses the tire a lot more, and you're not able to pick up throttle with the way the camber and the shape of this corner is. So just keep that in mind, that balancing act here. Just carry the speed. Don't try and brake too late. It's not really going to help you too much. Just try and carry the speed, be a bit softer on the brakes, get the car in, get it in as tight as possible. Like I said, while still carrying that speed, able to pick up full throttle before the apex curve now. This should force us away from the inside and onto this exit curb. Now quickly use this little bit of track on the left that opens up before this right kink. Soft brake here. Again, trying to carry all the speed. Don't be too late here. Do just prepare the car early. That's why we're getting it over to the left-hand side to try and open up the entry. Early brake, prepare the car, get it turned in. You can use fourth through here. I found fifth was a bit better to carry speed. When you're following a racing mile and you use fourth, it can work as well. I don't think it's quite as fast when you're around the limit. Get up to that inside curb. Don't use the sausage curb. You can use a bit of this exit curb here, unlike in real life. Make sure you're not braking on it though. So we're now, you can see we're got left wheels on the white line. It's a bit tricky because you're never really straight in this part of the track. So reference-wise, you have, like I said, that 50-meter board. You've got the curbing there. Trying to keep the wheel as straight as possible while we're braking. It's kind of like a medium brake because otherwise you just lock up into here and go very deep. Down to third gear. Make the inside white line, really important. Don't really want to hit the curb. It just kind of throws us off. So just get as close as you can to the inside. Third gear. Should be able to pick up the throttle, very quickly get the steering out, unload the car a bit, allow the car to run near the edge of the track. You don't want to be all over the edge there because it probably means you're going to have to work too hard for this next left. So you can see we're flat out now, up to fourth gear. We're not going to get all the way over to the right-hand side. In an F1 car, again, they probably can with the downforce they have, but not in this F4 car. So we're going to get most of the way over to the right-hand side. There's actually a bit more grip as well further to the left. That's where the rubber goes down with the cars. But yeah, you can see here, tricky braking point. Reference-wise, we have this service road on the right, so we're braking before that. It's going to change a bit every lap, though, based on your previous corner's exit, a bit like somewhere like Brooklands Luffield at Silverstone, turn 6-7. So it's just going to take a bit of practice, right? It's going to take a bit of practice. A bit of how much do I compromise this right for this left, but generally you want to focus on a good exit out of this left. It's quite important for lap time, and it'll be more consistent as well for a race scenario. So again, a pretty soft brake, tricky corner, exit's important. also very long and wide, bowl-shaped corner. You want to carry a lot of speed. Main thing is, again, don't be too late. Don't try and push the braking extra meter. Not going to help you. Really not going to help you. So just try and brake again just before the service road on the right. It's a pretty good reference. We want to get the car in. See, I'm not on the white line right now, but the key is I'm in the grippier part of the track. If you turn in really late and end up out here, you kind of fall out. There's a little bit of camber here. Just generally where you want to be with the car is just in tighter here. So just keep that in mind. You want to be generally in the vicinity of this like 2 car widths within the white from the white line as you're carrying speed around this corner. Okay, so we've got the car rotated. Able to pick up throttle now. Come out of the steering. Use the exit curb. Now we're just taking the shortest distance to this next braking zone here. Up to 5th gear. Braking down to 3rd now. Using a bit of this entry curb. Keep in mind, if you go straight on it, you will be braking on the grass, but we should be turning off before then. But good to use it just to help open up this right a little bit. Down to 3rd gear. A fairly heavy brake, not very long though. And you can see as well, this curve is also really good just braking reference. Braking as soon as I get onto it, basically. This sausage curb we can hit, surprisingly. The car's pretty good over it. You don't have to hit it, but it's one of those where, yes, it picks the car up a little bit, as you can see here. We bounce a little bit. However, it's worth, in my opinion, just because of the amount of track we open up. It's an extra, half a car width, from having our right tyre. Having our right tyre here versus here. And make sure you take it like this. Don't bounce. Don't run the plank of the car, so the floor, the middle of the car, over this part of the curb. That's not really ideal. Then you'll bottom out quite badly. And you don't want to run it so the right tyre just clips here. You want to kind of hook the right tyre in here, run the floor over this side of the curb. Like this. And that'll allow us to kind of just open up this left-hander as much as possible. And you see we're still slowing the car down to here. A little bit of throttle just to help carry a little bit of speed, carry a little bit of momentum. Tap on the brake. You can put your left wheels in this gravel, by the way. It's not too bad. So you can have the floor of the car just sitting on this curb. Try and keep it as tight as possible, reduce the distance. Rolling speed still, that speed we carried through the entry phase of the corner. Able to go to full throttle now, really early. But the key is here, there's kind of a crest. If you pick up full throttle really early and you keep the lock on here, you'll get a massive oversteer moment and it'll hurt your exit. So make sure you come out of the steering, really important here. So watch the bottom left. You see I come out of the steering now. As soon as possible, I unload the car before the revs get too high and we start to lose traction. Able to get the load out of the car, use all the exit curb, get up to 4th gear. Helps us get a good exit. Get over to the left-hand side of the track here early. This is as late as you want to be. I'd rather you be here a car length earlier, just so we're straight. If you're not braking in a straight line here, it can make things a bit tricky because you're not always getting the best angle into this right-hander, and also the fact that it's easy to drop a wheel in the grass if you're being quite late like I am here. So please keep that in mind. It's really soft brake in this car. Holding 4th gear. You can use the inside curb. You can see again it kind of helps hook, but the key is just exit. Please, with this corner, just think about the exit. And yes, a decent chunk of the exit is going to come from having that softer brake and carrying a lot of speed, but that early throttle pickup is super important. How early can I pick up the throttle without inducing this huge amount of understeer that we get in this car with the front wheel scrubbing? So trying to balance that is really important. But this exit is super important for lap time. Using all the curb here. Again, trying to get the steering out as much as possible, as quickly as possible, while keeping the car on the track. Get into the banking, use the banking. Again, try and reduce the steering lock so we have the nicest run to the line. And that ends our lap at Zandvoort. Okay, so that takes us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And make sure to check out the Coach Dave Academy Discord, which is in the YouTube video description. I've been Bart, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.